Hello and welcome back to another episode of SHU Doing. I'm Aaron Burrell.
I'm Paul Guarino.
And we are your hosts of SHU Doing. We are joined, season 3 has been a season full of illustrious guests. And we are joined by none other than Sacred Heart alum, Kristin Okesson of Connoisseur Media. Kristin, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
No, it's a pleasure. So we always like to kick things off. Oh, actually, no, were you gonna say something?
No, okay. I'm good. Let's go.
We like to kick things off with the Sacred Heart origin story. You know, where are you from, and how did Sacred Heart come onto your radar, and how did you decide that it was a school for you?
Okay. Probably my story is a little more non-traditional than most. I always wanted to be in the radio business, so I went to Emerson College, which had a really big radio program at the time, and then I sort of watched my mom struggling to pay the bills and said, I can probably do radio without a college degree. So I came home, and home was Connecticut, and jumped right into the radio business. And then as I worked my way up in my 20s, I realized I wanted to run the group. I wanted to run a group of radio stations. And in order to do that, I needed my bachelor's degree. So that was when I came here. At the time, they had a program called the University College, which was kind of how, you know, if you were an adult, and I was in my 20s, so I was an adult, you wanted to go back to school, that's what you did. You came here. So with one semester under my belt, I came here, and they helped me find the way.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Paul, another Connecticut native.
Yeah, for sure.
Paul's a
big Connecticut.
Where are you from?
I'm from West Haven.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You know, we got the best pizza, but AB always wants to dispute that.
I don't dispute it. I know it's definitely not where I'm from. I'm from Florida, so I know.
Well, you definitely can't talk about pizza.
Definitely not. When I came up here, everyone was like, "We have great pizza." And what's the pizza like in Florida? I was like, "We have good pizza," and they were like, "Well, I was like, "We've got Pizza Hut, Domino's."
Yeah,
They were like,
that's not pizza. Right.
I heard that plenty. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you get in, and so your mother was your introduction into radio. So, you know, most students, we talk about this, most students come to college, they don't, you know, some are figuring out what they want to do, some know what they want to do. So your mother was your inspiration into like wanting to work in radio.
My inspiration was I was having a hard time watching her pay the giant college bill. So I said, I always knew I wanted to be in radio. So since I was 16 years old, I stared in the business when I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow. What was it that, you know, drew you to radio?
Yeah, it's a good question. Now I'm going to sound like I'm 100, but, you know, there was nothing to do, right? So I always listened to the radio. We didn't have, and so I would listen all the time, and I just felt like that intimate connection, and it seemed neat to me. And when I was in high school, actually, I grew up in Woodbury, and there was a radio station that started in Litchfield that was started by the guy who ran at the time NBC Sports, Dick Ebersol.
Okay, yeah.
And his wife, Susan St. James, who show that you wouldn't know, she was on Kate and Alley. She was Kate from Kate and Alley, and I was obsessed with the show because, again, there were like 3 things on TV. And these 2 people were opening this radio station, and so I went and knocked on the door and asked for a job. And so that's how it started, yeah.
You literally knocked on the door?
Yeah, it wasn't open yet. Station wasn't open. Yeah,
Wow.
1992, yeah.
That's so crazy that it's funny when I first came to college here in Connecticut, my mom was always like, ESPN's down the road, just go knock on the door.
Yeah,
a
little different.
It doesn't work that way.
And back then you probably had a better shot than you do now, but
Yes.
you
I was
know.
thinking, look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like, sir, we can't just do it like that.
Yeah.
But it's always great to hear. So, Mom, I'm sorry I doubted you. It did happen.
Because, you know, think about it. Like, email wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
So if you wanted something, you had to go ask for it.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, crazy how different times are just thinking about it in
Yeah.
retrospect. Yeah.
And so, all right, so you get to, you know, you go through the university college.
Yeah.
Take us through your immediate postgraduate journey. What did that look like for you?
Well, I worked while I came here. So it was, you know, but my postgraduate journey was like a lot easier because now I just have work, not school and work. And so, no, I mean, you know, immediately what happened was a job opened and to run a group of radio stations here in Connecticut. And at the time it was bought by Cox Communications, which is a big company. And Cox had a rule that you couldn't run the stations unless you had a college degree. And I was just so thankful that I had like kind of followed my gut that I knew that it was going to become important at one point. So a lot of people along the way said, I don't understand, you're making a lot of money. Why do you care? Why are you bothering? But in my mind, I knew that it was important. It was going to be important at some point.
And what made you choose the route that you chose? Because, I mean, you have, like, great personality. It's like you could have gone the route of being the radio host as well.
So I realized very fast that, I'm not sure how this is going to sound because I know there's lots of kids training to be on air here. Mm-hmm. But I realized really fast that the people making a lot of money were the ones that were selling advertising. Mm-hmm. So I decided being on the air was initially something I wanted to do, but I also wanted money. So so I decided I was going to scrap that idea. Yeah. And so I got into sales, and that's kind of how I, that was my trajectory through to the management.
Awesome.
How has just like radio changed since like the beginning of your career to like now? Well,
forever, it's like people always say to me, and which I'm assuming is kind of the genesis of your question, like, is radio dying? Is people still listening? My whole career, they've said that. Yeah. So I think very, maybe a little misunderstood, but incredibly powerful mechanism as part of a media mix.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And connoisseur media. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the genesis story there.
Yeah. So in 2012, so I run a group of radio stations in Connecticut and Long Island, and also oversee some stations in Mississippi and South Carolina. Wow. But in 2012, our company was for sale, our stations in Connecticut, and a guy by the name of Jeff Warshaw in Westport, Connecticut bought them. And so we went from Cox to Connoisseur Media in 2012. And I've been working with him since then. And since then, he's purchased 200 plus radio stations. Wow. So we have a pretty big footprint across the United States, including we don't just do radio, but we have a very big digital business, as well as events. I run Connecticut Pizza Fest. The biggest pizza fest in Connecticut is my baby. So we can do another podcast about pizza if you want.
Well, okay, yes. Well, first of all, I mean, Paul is a big champion of a certain pizza company in West Haven. They're based. No,
which one are you talking about? Which one?
I have one go-to.
Well, no, I like a bunch of them.
I know you like a bunch, but
you're talking about Zupardi's?
Yes, that's always.
No.
Hey, that's definitely on the list.
It's on the list. Okay.
It's on the list.
But,
yeah.
But we have a real pizza expert here, Paul.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
We do have a pizza podcast out of our building. We run a pizza podcast, but we've put a lot of time and effort into the pizza culture in Connecticut because it's so big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously you touched on it briefly of like the digital arm of the business currently, and over the course of your career, it has changed quite a bit. How have you seen that from your vantage point?
Yeah, I mean, the days of just cracking the mic and going on the air and, are over. We have, it's very different now. So people consume our products many different ways, whether it's through the traditional on-air, signal, or through a streaming app, or they're watching content that's been, cut up and edited on social, or they're listening to, best of podcasts. So we have to repurpose our audio and also kind of, repurpose it in bite-sized pieces, right? Because we know people's attention span, depending on the topic, is usually not that long. But bearing in mind that, people do consume radio very different than they did many years ago, certainly.
And obviously with the field changing and all this, and you mentioned, being acquired by when you guys were Cox and all this, how does that change? From the outside looking in, most people see mergers and acquisitions as it's a scary time. How do I survive all these things? Is there any advice you can give to any potential students or post grad students who may end up finding themselves in a similar situation where it's I was at one company, it's been acquired. How do I make sure that I stay relevant in this company and can keep my my role?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I think that I see there are two different types of people. There are the type that embraces change, and then there's those that have a hard time with it. I mean, change is hard for anyone, but I think it's kind of how you decide you're going to react, right? And the best advice I can give you is just to be open-minded. Things will be different, but it doesn't mean different's bad, right? There's so much to learn from new people, new leadership, and the employees that kind of go with the flow and also have some grace with their leaders and know that things might be a little bumpy and you might not get your new health insurance card right away, and think, the website you have to sign on for your paycheck might be different and it may not, be as fast as it used to be or whatever, but you kind of just have some grace and patience. And those are the employees you always remember that kind of gave you the benefit of the doubt through those transitions.
Absolutely. Obviously you learn a ton over the course of your career, and getting into radio at the age you did it, very early. If you could go back now and tell yourself at 16 who was just starting, what advice would you give yourself about the career that you've had so far?
I think I was a little feisty in the beginning. I was ready to I thought, I knew everything. I was better than everyone. Yeah. And I learned really fast that to be successful, you need to have smarter people around the table than you, and you need to hire really smart people. You can't be afraid of people that are better than you. That's what you're aiming for, right? And you want people that can move their way up and move into your role at some point. And so I think I was a little bit of a know-it-all, and I think it's kind of the advice I give my kids too. It's like, you have so much to learn from so many people. You just need to just maybe do more listening, less talking.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think I agree with you with things like that. When you think you got to have a team around you to be successful too. What is another, like, I guess, what about going back to, like, since you transferred, like, what is some advice for, like, a young student picking a college?
I think that, like, nothing's forever. Like, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You can't be afraid to say, I made a mistake. It's not a fit. Yeah. It happens all the time. And I think the people that power through something that, because they think they have to, or they're trying to prove something to someone, it's unnecessary. We only have one life. We need to be happy. And if you go to a school and it's not the right fit, just say it.
Yeah.
Make a change.
Definitely. I want to go back to, you mentioned something about leadership, and I thought there was a lot of gems in that, in terms of, not being the smartest in the room and having, training people up, for leadership behind you. What other lessons in leadership are that you've learned that, students nowadays would find helpful?
I think it's really important to figure out what it is you like doing and what you're good at. And a good leader will figure that out with you and allow you to do more of that. What I try not to do is force someone to do things that they're maybe not great at, even though it might be part of, let's say, a sales manager job needs to be analytical as well as be good at selling in front of clients and, convincing people that, we have the best, option for them, right? That skill set is not necessarily the same skill set as the analytical part of that job. So if I can get someone else, if I have someone that's good at one and not the other, I try to get them to do more than one and less of the other. It makes for a happier employee. I think figuring out what you're good at in any role is really, really important.
Absolutely. Paul,
is it that time?
Huh?
Oh.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought that's what you were going to say.
No. Listen, I'm always ready. We have a segment called Fun SHU. We're still workshopping the name, so if you have a better name for us, as someone who has been in this field for, enough time.
Didn't you just ask ChatGPT for new names? Isn't that what everyone does now?
Yeah, this is Mr. ChatGPT. So, Paul, we should have. I don't know why we haven't thought about that. But
I like Fun SHU.
Yeah, we do. Fun SHU, I mean, it's been around for 3 seasons now. We should.
You got to go with it.
We're kind of stuck with it now, unfortunately, in my opinion. But we like to hit people with rapid-fire questions, and so this is that time. Paul, take us away.
So, who was your favorite professor at Sigart?
I don't know that I have a favorite professor. I would say the person that had the most influence was the guy that ran University College, Ed Donato.
Okay. What about, I guess, like, what was your favorite memory at Sigart?
Graduating, because you never think it's gonna come. Right?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I didn't. At one point, I thought I was gonna have to do an extra year, but I got through it.
Nice.
Yeah,
they probably
probably should have. Right. What else? What about, like, what was your favorite, like, meal on campus?
Well, like, again,
it was different.
It was different. I mean, doesn't everyone tell you? I mean, now I'm again dating myself, but it didn't look like this before, right? So Yeah, nothing.
All right, how about
It was no favorite meal here.
all right, playing off the how crazy is it? How much it changed since you've been here? How about that one?
You know what? It's interesting. I have the benefit of coming here a lot because I
Yeah.
do a lot with the school,
Yeah.
so I've seen it transition. I think if you were there, I graduated in 2006. If you were there in 2006 and you came back now, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It looked like a high school then.
Yeah.
But it's not as alarming to me just because I've seen the transition. It feels to me, it's like what I just said. It felt like a high school. It feels like a wonderful place to be, like this amazing university. It's like day and night. I'm sure you. I mean, even though you're very young and it's been
it's been some time. I mean,
Right.
it's been over 16 years for the two of us since we started here.
Right.
So it's been some
Right,
time.
so
yeah.
yeah.
So we've seen a lot of growth. I'm like jealous of these students. I see them and I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys don't even know how nice you have it. You know, like it's so much. I mean, when I came here, Paul's was the first graduate class for sports communication and media that was in this building.
Cool.
And I was the second class. And even then, from what we had in our undergraduate to now, it's like night.
Yeah, way different.
There is actually no comparison.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, going from the building, the regular. I don't even know what the regular building's called.
Yeah,
the main
I don't
building.
either.
The main
That's
The main
right.
campus.
We all called it main.
Going from the main campus to this is just like totally different. Yeah.
My son goes here, and you know, I'm like, you have no idea, but he doesn't understand. Like, this is all they know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And how does he like his experience of it?
His experience is also not traditional because I guess we don't do anything like North. He's a professional snowboarder, so he is a
that's awesome.
part-time student. So he, in his off season, he's got like another semester to go. I think he's going to go full time in the fall and then he's done. But for the last, he graduated in the terrible COVID 2020. So for the last 6 years, he's been coming here part time.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
And so we'll be seeing him in like the X Games.
Yeah, he's been in the X Games. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the tape.
Yeah, Joey.
Okay, that's awesome. We it's funny just in the snow sports world. I grew up in Florida, so not necessarily the best place for snow sports.
Right.
But
strikes against you: pizzas, snow. Right.
I know. I'm like, but choose my words carefully before I strike out here. But one of the things, Paul and I, one of our first features that we did was with a young man named Patrick Halgren, who's he is a Paralympic skier, and 9 years ago we interviewed him, and he was talking about how he wanted to go on this journey of he was going to be the best skier in the world. And this past Paralympics, he won silver for the United States.
Awesome.
Yeah.
First medal that the United States has won in the Super G downhill in 9 years. From Connecticut as well.
Huge.
So,
Yeah,
so
it's such
got to
an
shout out our
accomplishment.
Connecticut. Yeah.
It's so crazy because we did the interview so long ago and we didn't even like think of it, and we're like, "Yo, he just won."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it's like he talked about it, and it's so cool to see all these things. So hopefully we'll see. I mean, hopefully you see your son again in another X Games. That this time now we know, so we know something to root for. So no, this has been awesome. We appreciate your time, Kristin.
Of course.
This has been amazing. This has been
What you doing?
What you doing? Another season, as I said, illustrious guests only. So we appreciate you joining
I'm honored.
that illustrious list. This has been another episode of What You Doing. We hope you have enjoyed. We'll see you next time.